Good morning. My name is Tom Poche. I'm the owner of Shelf Energy. I'm a petroleum engineer, and what I'm going to show you today is projects that we drilled last year. We had drilled the Moresi number 1, which is on land in South Louisiana in Ansel Butte Field, and we also drilled the Moresi number 2. Both of these wells were successful. We drilled them for approximately 1.5 million each, and that was to drill, complete, run casing, and also install facilities. In each one of these wells, the first well we drilled, we found 100 to 125,000 barrels of oil. So based on a net revenue, it's just probably a 6 to 7 to 1 on your money. This well will probably produce about 5 to 10 years. The second well we drilled is the Moresi number 2. This well was drilled in December of 2012. Did mention this was drilled in April of 2012. This was a follow-up well based on the success of the Moresi number 1. The Moresi number 1 drilled in a position what we call up dip or uphill to last known production. This is a two-dimensional map which you would be looking on top of the ground, and so it's a projection of what's in the ground at 4,400 feet at a high here down to a depth of 4,800, so that we're on a hill and we're going to drill up dip of the last production and get in between the production and salt. We're in an area where there's a salt dome that comes within 250 feet of the surface, and that's approximately a half a mile away from us. At the depth that we're at, salt comes in, which is this purple line here, and this is showing that it's around 4,400 feet. And in the Moresi number 1, we drilled down to approximately 4,520, and we did not encounter salt, meaning that we found oil up dip of this well. This log here is an electrical log which shows the sand. Approximately 65 feet of oil pay was found in this well. We're now producing from 4490 to 4510 perforations. The well came on at 115 barrels a day, and presently we're making about 50 barrels of oil a day from this well. It'll probably continue to produce in this zone for 2 to 3 more years. Also, when we drilled this well, we found shallow pay, which in this area we know that there was shallow oil, and so we additionally logged the surface hole, which is the first section of the hole we drilled, to 1,200 feet. So what I'm going to show you here is potential that we found at 900 feet, at 700 feet, and at 1,100 feet. So we established by running a log in the surface hole that we had additional pays in the shallow zone. We ran pipe to 1,200 feet, and then we drilled down to our depth of approximately 4,520 and encountered 65 feet of oil play plus additional pays on top of that. So in this well, we've encountered about 100 to 125,000 barrels. However, because it'll be a long time before we can come up to these shallow oil zones, we're going to drill what's called the Moresi number 4. And what it's going to do is essentially twin this location where we drilled the Moresi number 1, approximately 20 feet, which we went out on location yesterday to show the representatives of U.S. Energy Brokers. This well is planned for May of 2013, and we plan to drill this for approximately $725,000, which will be drill, complete, and also facility cost. And of this particular well that we do have some interest left in the well to sell. I didn't talk too much about the second well we drilled. The Moresi 2 is a well that U.S. Energy Brokers invested in, and what we found in this well was about 29 feet of oil pay at 6,000 feet. We found additional pays below here, about 6 feet. We found additional pays here, about 4 to 5 feet. And presently, we tested 6112 to 6120, and this tested at 5 to 10 barrels per hour on a short-term test. Overall, we're looking for about 50 barrels per day in an initial zone, which was actually an extra added zone to our well. So we drilled a little deeper, and we actually tested some what we call tight oil sands, and we've got production. So this is an addition to the 75 to 100,000 barrels that we've already found. So we'll produce this first. We'll also test this zone right above it, which it looks like it'll be hydrocarbon pay. But again, a little tight zone. Then we'll come back and we'll recomplete to this zone, and then later on to this one. So it's going to be a number of years probably before we come up to this main zone here. When we come up to here, you're probably looking at least 100 barrels a day, 75 to 100 barrels a day. In addition to that, we have 6 feet of oil pay at around 1,100 feet. So we did see shallow pay in this well, but we did not see enough pay to drill an additional shallow well. So right now, again, last year, Shell's 2 projects that we drilled is the Moresi number 1 in South Louisiana, finding 100 to 125,000 barrels for 1.5 million. We drilled the Moresi number 2, which was the follow-up, the same thing. We were drilling up dip of a well that made 1 million barrels. So the idea that we're using out here and we'll use on other projects is the same. We're going to be trying to find up dip production from wells that have already produced. These are low risk, medium yield potential projects, and it looks like, again, we'll make 6 to 7 on our money. So this will be this is the location of our second well, and of course the log results of that well. And then we'll drill the Moresi number 4, a follow-up to the Moresi number 1 as an acceleration well to recover oil from 900 and 1,100 feet, which was already logged in the Moresi number 1, making it a very, very low risk drill to complete in the shallow oil zones. These shallow oil zones are going to be a thicker oil, a gravity of around 18 to 21. The other oils that we're producing are about 36 to 38. What that means is the oil is going to be thicker and it's going to flow at reduced rates. So we're looking at probably 25 to 30 barrels a day, but a much less drill and complete cost, and we're looking at a potential of 10 to 25,000 barrels. And that takes us through the first 3 projects, all in the same area, in a salt dome, in South Louisiana, in St. Martin Parish, Louisiana.